Hey, hey, hey. What's up, fam? It's Tuesdays with Tawana. Yeah, it's Tuesday, 2 o'clock. So happy to be here and engage with community on today. Grateful that I can even talk after having a tooth extraction. Grateful to be here and energetic after treatment on yesterday. So I am just grateful, extremely, extremely grateful. Um, so as you come in the room on today, we will just talk about what's going on in our worlds and build community one Facebook Live at a time. This is about community, so as you comment, I will insert that comment into this beautiful narrative, or you can just hang out with us for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Or if you're listening to this on a podcast later on and you hear these little bells and whistles or hear me talk about names, it's because we turn this live broadcast into um, a podcast, this broadcast into a podcast. So grateful to be here, so grateful to be a part of community, so grateful to have another Tuesday to engage and to just spend some time with you. So let's dialogue. This is not about me talking for the next 20 to 30 minutes. It is about a dialogue. I invite you to comment and to share your thoughts and your feelings, to share what's going on in your world as we are faced with so many challenges day to day. Hey, Mother Carolyn. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She says, I love your hair. I am so grateful. Yes, these locks are definitely blessing me. I'm enjoying them. I'm feeling this healing process from the top of my head to the crown of my head to the bottom of my feet. Just feeling this healing. Hey, Cordio, my little buttercup. Happy Tuesday. As always, so grateful to see everyone. So we're going to get started. I'm going to share this on the Tuesdays with Tawana page, but we're going to get started and have a bit of a conversation around no one healing alone. Oh, what does my shirt say? Look at God. I was just going to segue into that. So it has all the different color cancer ribbons, cancer awareness ribbons. So the bottom of my shirt says, no one fights alone. No one fights alone. And as much as I love this shirt, hey, Mama Lovey, I miss you and love you so much. Both my mamas are in the building today. I'm so grateful. So my shirt says that no one fights alone. So it has all of these different cancer awareness ribbons, whether it's pink for breast cancer, purple for I believe like colon cancer. There's green for ovarian cancer. I may have it's so many colors, but the awareness is what it's all about, right? But the term no one fights alone. I've always struggled with that, not only being a domestic violence survivor, but it puts one on the defensive, and I don't want to fight from the defensive. I want to be on the offense. I want to be on the offense of love and seeing myself healed and whole in the future. I don't want to see myself fighting my way through. I want to see myself loving my way through. So not to knock the statement, because some people, this is a battle. This is a battle for their lives or our lives every single day. And I just choose the language I choose to use is very affirming and very encouraging. And I don't want to go to battle with anyone or anything, because the innate strength that is in me and my faith and my trust and my love in God and being a healer and the God in me says that I don't have to fight this battle, right? This battle is not mine to fight. So it is a battle, but I don't want to have to fight it. I want to heal through it and press my way through it. And it helps me to focus on the healing and not the fight. It helps me to focus on the healing and open my mind up to the different healing modalities that I have access to, because I go out to seek and create those spaces for me to experience it. Because as Black women, healing, whether it's involved in domestic violence or some form of cancer or disparaging wage treatment and lack of access to jobs, lack of access to health care, lack of access of trusting health care, all of that is a lot to take on. So I want to see myself healing through all of that and healing so I attract other healing partners with me that can journey with me and give me the language to advocate for myself, to give me the language to speak life and to affirm who I am as a breast cancer survivor, to affirm who I am, who is in the throes of healing every single day. Like a tooth extraction for me is not the same as a tooth extraction for someone else, because I am in active treatment, because I am on blood thinners. It took a little longer for the space in my tooth to heal, and it's still healing, but at least I'm having a conversation, and it's just, to get a little graphic, it's no longer bleeding, because it's hard to stop the bleeding when you're on blood thinners, even though I had to stop the blood thinners 5 days prior, which is another anxiety causing agent that may cause us to battle, because taking me off of blood thinners puts me at risk of my blood clot moving or moving into my lungs. And I got to think about that as I'm off blood thinners, so that when I have the oral surgery, that there's no complications there, but then there is still a risk that I take. So it's all of this stuff going on, and quite frankly, I'm not in the mood to fight. I'm in the mood to be resilient. I'm in the mood to resist the status quo. Hey, Tony, I'm so glad you made it. So glad you made it, because it's so appropriate that you were on after what you and Reggie just experienced with his heart transplant. It's one thing to be present and to have to deal with the powers that be and to push back and to advocate for yourself. And I want to do it in a healing way. I don't want to do it in a fighting way. I don't want to do it where I'm stressed. I already deal with enough anxiety as it is. I'm already prone to depression, so I don't want to add something onto that. So when I say that no one heals alone, it is changing the language of no one fights alone to no one heals alone, or no one should heal alone. Because as you have journeyed with me for so long, you know that this language, this blanket statement, I really do my very best not to use, like all cancer survivors should do this, or all breast cancer survivors and thrivers should do that. No, these are opportunities and pathways to healing that we can use. And the one thing is that no one should heal alone, whether your community is your intimate family and your doctors, or your community is that and beyond, whether it's your church community where you live, or your breast cancer support group, or whatever that is. Yes, Angela, come through community. There's healing in community, Tony. That's right. So no one should heal alone. And if you're finding that someone is going through some challenges and doing this on their own, either if you have the wherewithal or the agency or the capacity to help that person and to be with that person and to journey and walk with that person through their healing process, and share what you have learned on your own healing journey, or what you have learned in healing in community in this setting, that's a beautiful sacred thing that that you can do for a survivor so that they don't have to do it alone. It's the same with domestic violence. As I am building relationship with the victim and finding that right time to share that resource that is not life threatening to yourself or to the person who's a victim, really discerning that healing moment of when is that opportunity where I can be there for my beloved. I can be there for my beloved in a way that doesn't put my beloved at risk, nor does it put me at risk. Um, Reverend Christina says that it's hard to heal alone in progress without a true, honest, and accountable support system. Absolutely. And you know what? I don't take that support system for granted because it doesn't just happen. Mama Lovey said, "Oh, you are the most resilient person on this planet." And it's only because of community, only because of those people who continue to pray for me, only because I have these releasing conversations and these venting conversations with people that I love and I trust, and they help to bring me and open up my heart and my mind and my soul to a space of healing and focusing on what is healing me versus what is hurting me. I know chemo is not the best thing in the world, but you know what? Someone was on a clinical trial 10 years ago for me to be here today because HER2 positive cancer was one of the most popular and most aggressive cancers. About 10 to 20% of breast cancer diagnosis was HER2 positive breast cancer, and it's a protein where protein is enlarging the cells and it causes the cancer to grow. But now they have these targeted therapies that target the cancer cells so that the chemo can then work on the cancer cells and the cancer cells only, hence no evidence of disease. It doesn't mean that the cancer cells aren't sitting there waiting to jump in the double dutch rope, right? They are there, but that targeted therapy helps to target the healing process, helps to focus on the healing process. And somebody 10 to 15 years ago had to be on a clinical trial for me to live and not die at the hands of my diagnosis. So building community is really about having these conversations and this awareness and building a trust amongst ourselves so that we can advocate for ourselves and fight for the things that we want and fight for the things that we need and not have to wait for someone to give it to us. The Alexanders began healing through community by following your lead. Bless you, Tanisha. This is why I do what I do, because this is a way, and it's a way that we are not accustomed to because we have been fighting for so long. For the past 400 years, not 400 years ago, but for the past 400 years, we have been fighting this battle so that we can be seen and we can be heard because we don't have access and we don't there's disparaging treatment and pay and job access and healthcare, and the list goes on and on and on, right? But yet and still we are still here and we're still surviving, and we do this in community because if it's done for me, beloved, it's going to be done for you because it is a mindset, it's a heart set, it's a soul set that we set our minds and our hearts on the healing process so that no one has to heal alone. We bring in community, not to tell our business. You know, we had this thing where what goes on here stays here, but there are certain things that need to be shared out loud, that need to be shared in community because someone doesn't know. You know, not everybody knows that domestic violence, that there's a stage, there's stages to domestic violence. Not everyone knows how to respond to a domestic violence victim or a perpetrator. Not everybody has that language. So if we don't talk about it and it stays in the darkness of shade, how can we share and spread our light to others so that they can live and not die at the hands of these systemic ills? So although my shirt says no one fights alone, I dare us to shift that language to say no one heals alone and to speak into the affirmative and to the life-giving so that we can live we do enough fighting. We have enough fighting for our humanity out in these streets, loving this world when it doesn't love us back. Tony says that when we heal in public of whatever issue, we liberate others to do the same. Absolutely. We don't dim our lights so that somebody else's light can shine. Our lights are going to shine together so brightly. Each of us are stardust. Each of us are stars in the universe. And sometimes one has to shine brighter than the other to lead the way in order to remind that star that you are bright. You are here for a reason. You are here, a part of this cosmic universe, and that we need you to survive in order for me to survive. Because if you're hurting, then I'm hurting. If you're not healing, I'm not healing. If you are oppressed, then I am not liberated. And the list goes on and on. Christina says that's a dangerous mindset that keeps so many of our people in pain and suffering instead of getting the help and healing that they need. Absolutely, because healing is very vulnerable. It requires us to be very transparent, and we have not been taught to be that way. And most of the time, rightfully so, because we don't know what people are going to do with our heart. We don't know what people are going to do with that information. We don't know if we can trust these people other people in order for us to move forward in a healing mode, or are they going to use this information against us? For instance, like we talked about critical race theory last week, I'm going to post something in a text later where our very own Dr. Kimberly Crenshaw, who coined the term, is actually talking about what critical race theory is. And when she was interviewed by our wonderful Joy Reid, Kimberly Crenshaw said, if there's a curriculum out there, I don't know about it, and I coined the term. So what white people are doing is saying basically they don't want Black history taught in schools because critical race theory really started in higher ed and in academia. It wasn't really introduced. It wasn't introduced, according to Kimberly Crenshaw, the one who coined it. It wasn't produced in the schools K through 12. It was in higher ed. So what curriculum are we talking about? We are talking about inserting Black history into the schools, and white dominant thought does not want that. Good afternoon, Mother Odessa. Good to see you, my friend in Christ. Glad you could join us. And then Tanisha says, and lack of transparency is a learned behavior too. Woo, breaking cycles day by day. We must break those cycles of silence because silence kills us. Our silence will not protect us, as Audre Lorde says. We must speak out and speak up on this healing journey so that somebody else can be enlightened and raise their consciousness and be given the courage to question, to speak, to share their feelings, to cry. Proverbs LaVon Briggs posted on Instagram the other day. I don't know the entire quote, but she was talking about let's normalize crying in public. Sometimes we just got to let it out. Sometimes, we hold it in, and then all of that festers. And that's when those layers of trauma begin to just compound and pile on one on top of the other if we're not dealing with the root. If we're only dealing with the symptom, then guess what? That one symptom may go away, but the root cause of the problem is not going to go anywhere because you got to go to the root in order to deal with the symptom. If I have a cold, I have to deal with the cold, not just the cough or the sneezy or the itchy eyes or whatever. I can address those individually, but that cold is not going to go away. Reverend Christina says they don't want the truth to come out and change their child's thought process when it comes to us and the real history. Absolutely. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of shame that comes along with that, and it's killing us. It's killing us mind, body, and soul, because if you don't teach the truth and you're teaching lies, it's those lies that then affect us adversely. It's those lies which cause people to think or perceive that my skin color is a threat. It's those lies that says that I am not fully human. It's those lies that says that I'm not brilliant, or I'm not divine, or I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough. And I'm here to tell you that we are here to combat those things and to find our place in community so that each of us could play a certain role. I got a inbox on Instagram the other day from a very dear friend of mine, Harlem Strong. And she was asking about a friend that was just diagnosed with some form of cancer and what can she do. But as a sister pastor, she listed most of the things that she could do. Can she send a meal? Can she go with her to treatment? Can she sit with her? Ask her, what she needs. Can she run some errands for her? And I responded, all of the above, any of the above. Those are things that we do for cancer survivors and those who are in the throes, because not everybody can sit and do a Tuesdays with Tawana. Not everybody can sit up. Not everybody can go in and feed themselves. Not everybody can eat the same foods that they used to, because chemotherapy changes your taste buds. I couldn't even eat with with silverware. I had to use plasticware because of the metallic or whatever in the chemotherapy really enhanced the taste of the metal in the utensils. And if you don't talk about that, then how are people supposed to know how to help you? By even buying you plasticware or buying you foods that you may not be able to eat, but you have this favorite food that you could still eat. It may not be the best for you. It might be that Pepsi that we're not supposed to drink. But in that moment, to give that person who is in the process of healing some hope in the midst of this despair, give them some hope in the midst of losing so much and having to change their lifestyle. You build relationships, and then out of relationships come trust, because without trust, there is no relationship. And so if you trust each other, then when we go into the doctor's office and I bring my peoples with me, my peoples are there to ask those questions that I may not be able to ask, or I don't have the language to ask. So when I talk about no one should heal alone, it means that my crew knows just as much as I have. My crew knows that I had a bilateral mastectomy. My crew knows, when I lost a tremendous amount of weight. My crew knew when I couldn't do my own laundry and couldn't bathe myself, and that my children had to bathe me. So not everybody's healing journey is the same. And some outwardly, I look, like I'm healthy and I'm fine, and I speak that and I live that, and I try to live that out every day. But it doesn't go without noticing the limitations on my left side. Like I can't lift weights. I can't lift with my left arm. I still have muscle spasms because of the results of radiation. When I lean or lie a certain way, it causes pain on my left side. But those are things that aren't seen. Or there are times when fatigue gets the best of me, and when I walk to a long distance or whatever, I kind of gotta catch my breath. But those are things that you won't know unless I share those things. And then in community, you can support and hold my arms up. You can come with me to the supermarket. You can come with me to the doctor's office. We could leave a little early so we could take our time so fatigue won't set in. So that communication and that relationship building and trust building is what we need to build community, in order not to rely on the status quo that really doesn't want to give us access to begin with, that really doesn't divine medical programs that are made for us to begin with, that are really not looking at our best interests at heart and only looking at a white way of doing this. Yes, you can be the Aaron and her that had to hold Moses's arms up. That's right. You can be my Esther or my Ruth or my Naomi or my Deborah, and holding my arms up. Hey, Lorma, good to see you, my beloved sister. Yes, hold me up. Hold each other up when we get tired, because Fannie Lou, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. So again, my mantra and my approach to daily life and healing is just that, focusing on the healing, and then focusing on those people and partnering with those people that go out to the legislature to make laws, or go out and to speak up at, your local congressperson, or calling your congress people and telling them to pass laws that are going to speak life into us and not take life away from us, and to look at us as a priority, because there's no mistake that we are the highest in all of these different different abilities, or all of these heinous acts against us. It's no accident. So it's going to take some intentional love and intentional healing to dismantle all of those negative narratives that weren't meant for us to begin with, and insert this language of love, and this language of healing, and this language of perseverance, and this language of power and strength and resilience. It's going to take all of that, and everyone has their part to play. Caden graduated today. Yay, my beautiful nephew. So I'm gonna catch the rest on replay. I love you too, Tony. Tell Caden congratulations. So with that, I just want to encourage you to be aware and to pay attention to your circle. Be aware and pay attention to those who are around you, because you never know what they might need. Just a smile, a ministry of presence, starting a meal train, whatever it is, paying attention and not inserting our own needs on that person, but getting to know someone, being really curious about that person. What is it that you need to survive? What it is that you need to thrive? How can I show you love in a revolutionary way, a way that you haven't may not have received love before? How can we build that trust, so you trust me and community now to share your story and to share the ills of your story, not only with cancer, but also with domestic violence, or also with other debilitating diseases? How do we speak up? And we have the language. We do that in community, because community teaches us. This is how what's in our DNA. This is how our communities and our tribes and our villages supported each other. We came together. We had a griot. We honored the griots. We honored the ancestors that came before us. So let's continue to do that, and reach back to take what they have taught us, learn it, and then move forward, so that we can help somebody else, again, lifting as we climb. So my prayer is that no one heals alone. This is one of the major reasons, and how I started this broadcast was really sharing my arduous breast cancer journey, and the process of healing. It just doesn't stop. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I thank my community for loving me. Yes, Sankofa, Angela. I thank my community for loving me. I thank my community for praying for me. I thank my community for hitting me up and asking me, do I need anything? When I had my tooth pulled, I had people hitting me up, do I need anything? And that just warmed my heart, because people really do care, and we can really build this village, beloveds. We can really build this community and come together and dismantle the status quo. While white people are dismantling, we're dismantling things that harm us and hurt us, and rebuilding those things that give us life, so that we have access to life, and life more abundantly. We have access to this unspeakable joy. We have access to all of the things that have been denied us all of this time. So it's really time for us to step up and step out, so that no one heals alone. I love y'all dearly, and I'm so grateful to be on this broadcast with you. This broadcast means a lot to me. I pray that my words come forth to edify you, to honor you. I see you. I love you. I honor your presence, your divine, beautiful presence. I am so grateful for those who catch the replay, either on Facebook or through a podcast. I am so grateful that you tune in with Reverend T on every week. So I am finishing up preparing for a presentation that I have tonight. Pathways of Healing from Racialized Trauma, a Model of Self-Care for Early Childhood Educators. If you know, and we all have something to learn. So it's really for focusing on educators and those early childhood providers, but it's for everyone because we are talking about healing from racialized trauma and how we can exhibit self-care that isn't so capitalistic and white, rooted in whiteness, that really doesn't love us and focus on us. So on my page, please register and support me tonight, and let's learn together and grow together and share together. I love all of you dearly. Thank you for rocking with me. I truly appreciate it. And let's come together as community, for no one should heal alone. Much love to you all, and I hope to see you on next Tuesday. Oh, one other thing. I do have I'm moderating a panel tomorrow on domestic violence at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So that'll be on my page later. But today's presentation with the early childhood educators and providers is at 8:30 Eastern time, 5:30 Pacific, 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central. Yeah, all the time zones. I'm giving all the time zones. So tomorrow I'm moderating a panel on domestic violence, because domestic violence doesn't just happen in October. Domestic violence awareness should happen all year round, because we are saving lives every single day. So I love y'all dearly, and I hope to talk with you on next Tuesday. Share this video. Love you. Later. I'm out.